Kobayashi?
Roy.
Yeah.
As old as the paper is. So that must be about 30. What anniversary are we celebrating? 30
I think 40th is next year.
Oh, okay. So about 40 years then. We're still working on it. Yeah, we're still doing. I'm still not. No, he used to deliver at the various shops in Fullerton, and I would label. We stuck the labels on. I'm still labeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ralph. The founder of the paper, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Were you guys like friends beforehand, and then?
Yeah, we were, and he's such a good guy. You know, he's such a giving person, and you can't help but just embrace him. And and we just followed him all around. And he wanted to start a paper, and he said he ran for the city council, and he didn't make it. So, but he was very disappointed, and he said, oh, and he fussed about it, and he said, you know what? Fullerton doesn't have a paper. We need to know what's going on in Fullerton. So he said, how about it? What do you guys think? So a bunch of us got together, and he picked our brains, and we all agreed. And we said, I think you should start it. Let's do it. Let's try it. But he said, we don't have any money. So he said, we have to have volunteers doing it. So they started with, those prints that you have to just put in every word in the printer. The printer was like huge. It was in the garage. And so that's how we got started,
Yeah.
And so I think we did it once a month, I think, And then we didn't mail, because mailing would cost too much money. So he would when we labeled it, we had dinner here. Nat would cook us dinner, and then he'd take off. We'd go to the garage to label, and he would go to take it to various stores, and that was the beginning. So gradually it went on, and we thought it would surely end. We just fold up somewhere, but we're still going at it. So meantime, he went out and he got some advertisements, and people advertised, and that paid for then he sent it to the printers, and printers need money, right? So Ralph went out, and he went to all the stores, and everybody said, I want to advertise, and it became a big hit. And that's how it got started. And then so he said, you know what, we have enough money, we don't have to get all dirtied up or anything, so let's take it to the printers. So that's how the printing started. We took it to the printers. How long did we hand do it? Several years, huh? To put letter by letter.
I don't know, quite a while.
It was quite a while.
Once,
it was a struggle.
He got the computer, then it made it much easier for them to handle it.
Yeah.
But before that, everything was manually done by hand.
Sometimes one letter at a time even.
Yeah, one letter at a time, yeah.
Well, I wrote more
his causes,
human
interest stories, yeah.
Yeah.
And he'd go to different, now we have George's in Fullerton, and they take our paper. They've always had Observer in their shop over there. So he said, you know what, we've lived in Fullerton for over 50 years. They've been here ever since we moved to Fullerton. So he said, I think that would make a good story. So he went in, he interviewed, got a picture in there, was a big write-up in there. They were so happy. And he writes human interest stories and things like that,
Yeah.
I think my favorite time is when we would get together, and we'd either have dinner, especially the dinners, let's say there were about about 7 of us, and Nat would cook us dinner, and we'd have dinner. That was my favorite time, because we just laughed. We didn't want to move. We just sat there. So Ralph would tell us, okay, I'm the dishwasher, she cooked, you guys go in the back. So we'd bring a big pot of coffee, and we'd go sit in the back. But back there, it was fun again, And but I think I like the get-togethers that we had a lot, small get-togethers, and we'd talk and we'd laugh and we'd work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody was all like kind of friends, right?
Yeah,
Just
we're all
working
friends,
together.
and nobody said anything about volunteering of time. It was just a normal and natural thing to do. Yeah. 2025
25?
reporters and everybody.
That's cool.
And some liked. There was Nadine that liked to do. She was she's a computer whiz, but she liked to do itty bitty things. So she would be the one that would put all those Ralph, and she would paste it up. Then you had to have proofreaders, and sometimes if you're not a very good, if you read too fast or whatever, you won't make a very good proofreader. So proofreaders came and went, and then finally we find a proper place in the paper, So that was fun. I like John Dober.
John Dober.
Yeah,
What's that?
He writes articles. He is a comedian, and he just retired, and he is the he was a minister at the rabbi at the Jewish church, but he started off as a comedian. So when he writes, he is hilarious, but he is a great writer. So I really enjoy that. I enjoy his articles, a lot.
There was another band here,
Jack Harlow?
Jack Harlow. Yeah. Jack was a brilliant guy. He actually started even before the paper started. I met the guy when we were trying to stop the Fullerton Airport from expanding, and quite a number of people in this original group. The group was called Fullerton
Citizens for Livable
Citizens,
Community.
yeah, for Livable Community, and the name of that first group was called exactly the Fullerton for Livable Community, because we were trying to organize, become an organization that was going to oppose the expansion of the airport. And there were the groups like the Chamber of Commerce and groups like that wanted to expand the airport because of commercial reasons. But we were afraid that if they do that, and they were going to bring in jets, then it's going to get even harder to live with, because these single-engine Piper Cubs or Cessnas, they're not as bad. They're quite quiet. But if they bring in jets, then it's going to be very loud. And we wanted to avoid that from happening. And we had a real fight on our hands. And fortunately we won. It was a big what you might call that, big getting together, different homeowners associations, and we actually stopped the movement from going towards our airport expansion. Well, anyway, after that, Ralph, who's her father, decided that what we need is a newspaper that was going to present some of the other issues that were not being covered.
In the News Tribune, huh?
Yeah,
Fullerton
it
News
was a
Tribune.
News Tribune for the News Tribune. That's when he decided, he proposed with the Fullerton Observers, Fullerton,
Citizens for a Livable Community. For a livable community.
yeah,
Citizens.
that group, to see whether that group would take on the task of producing a newspaper so that the city of Fullerton can hear some of the other side of the story. So anyway, I personally went to the first meeting over here, and he proposed that idea. And I thought to myself, that's a good idea, but I don't think it's gonna last. It'll last for maybe about a year, and it's gonna just, fade away. And so far,
We're still at
how
it.
many years? Still going strong.
A remarkable change. Yeah,
The ironic thing is that now that we don't have those jets, we stopped that. What we have now are the helicopters. And talk about the noise, it's even worse.
Maybe you should write something about that.
It's even worse.
Okay, but what does Jack Hollow? Was Jack Hollow in the first group?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Jack Harlow was very helpful because he was a pilot himself. So he was on our side. So Harlow was a real valuable voice on our side.
Some of the issues that the paper has helped with throughout the years besides the airport, like we wouldn't have a park next to the museum center. We wouldn't have the museum center probably.
Oh,
We
yeah.
wouldn't have the
Yes.
we
Yes.
wouldn't have that plaza.
Yes.
We would have ConAgra flour mills
That's right. Right.
as tall
Right.
as
You're right, the
Matterhorn.
issue. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You guys made a lot of different changes in Fullerton. Parks,
The
the
parks,
bike
yeah.
paths.
Bike path. Yeah.
What else?
Yeah. Your dad was really into the bike path, and he really fought for Fullerton to. Why don't you just go and put? And he would tell them to mark here, but they never did. Why now it's come to pass that they are doing it. So, yeah. There. And let's see. And when Cal State Fullerton had that big riot, your dad was right in midst of it. They had a big write-up. Yeah.
What was that riot about?
What was the Cal State Fullerton riot about?
Was it about the,
No,
the
that's-
war? The Vietnam War?
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah.
the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they came to your dad to, can you cover us up? So he did. He did. And we all went to Cal State. And we all helped them. Tiny little articles became big because they just, your dad would go out and he'd interview, and he'd sit in on meetings. He was never at home. He was always in different meetings, and he would just write. And so the issue became open to the public, and lots of people said, "We didn't know about that. We didn't do this. How come this? So Ralph said, "Read the paper," and we really covered Fullerton. We still do. every few times a week, I think.
Few times a
Yeah,
week,
yeah. We just and the house was open. The door was always open, so we just drop in, come go. And in fact, the observer was in the back. The garage was the observer. She didn't have the office here yet, you know. And the garage is such a small space, right? So we'd all sit in there, drink coffee in there, chat, talking. I think we talked more than we worked. That's what the problem was, you know. It was a get together, and we'd laugh, and then we go, and then we'd work. It took a long time. instead of doing the work, Ralph didn't tell us, you guys, you just gotta be quiet for me. Let's all finish this up and then talk. He led the group. He was the one that was talking. So we all stopped and we talked, and then, we gotta finish this up. So let's see. I think the day it was published, because he was working, we had to do it at night, right? We'd go. By the time we dragged into the house, was about 11 o'clock at night. That's how it took that long, because we'd sit, we'd talk, we'd have coffee time, and it just took a lot longer than what was necessary, you know. But I think it was a lot of it was social time. You
This
know?
year having fun, right?
So we had a lot of fun, yeah. So like now, Nadine was working for the county, so she would drop off before going home. She'd drop here. She lives up. Where does she live? She lives by St. Jude's. So on the way home, she'd stop here, and then she couldn't go home because she got very obsessive with her stuff. You can't, no, don't touch this, don't do it. And she was very picky about it. So, but she was perfect, right? So she came just about every night. And Barbara Johnson lived here. She came every day too. Yeah, they came. There was always something to do.
It's fun.
So yeah, those were fun days.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, just labeling now.
Just labeling?
That's And the labeling was such a task because we never had zip codes. Now when we mail it, it goes according to zip code. So you bundle up, and so Sharon gets the mailers out, and it's all in zip code. And one pile is 92133 or whatever it is, you know. In those days, we didn't have zip codes, and I can't remember how we bundled it. I know out of state was different, and so that was a separate 2 bags I think we had. And how did we do the mailing for Fullerton? I don't remember how we bundled it up. I know it wasn't alphabetical.
Yeah.
Maybe it was alphabetical, I don't know. And I think we had to do it in bundles of 25, I think, and then just put it into boxes, you know. But the post office guys would say, you didn't do it right, you gotta come to class. So we had to go to class to learn how to, and we sit there, it goes over my head, and I'm sitting, we look at each other, do you get it? No. And other groups that the other church mailing people, we were all there. And nobody understood what was going on. They went way above our head, explaining this and that, and they were using proper postal terms, which we didn't understand. So we said, would you repeat that again? And they'd get so upset. You ladies, all ladies, you ladies, don't you get anything? That would be it. And we had Roberta Reagan was with us, and she was a very prim person. She got so mad. She said, "Hey, you think we're stupid?" And they go, "No. Well, you implying we are. What you're doing is you're not telling us in our language. Talk like we would understand. We came here to learn, and you're not teaching properly, you know." So we got into a big to-do with the post office department, and for a while, we didn't sit well with the postal department. You
Now
know?
they love us though.
Yeah,
Now they love us. And,
Yeah,
And
now.
the new crew that's there, they're all great.
Yeah. They sure gave us a better. You guys need more classes. We go, and then we don't understand. Come home and we do the same thing. So you gotta come back for classes. 7 tomorrow morning or whatever it was. So we'd go, and then there's no classes. They say we postponed it. So we'd get mad, you know. And all females, you know. So I think they were a little bit prejudiced among females, you know. But you know what? But we never wrote anything about that being picked on or whatever it was. Nobody wrote an article on that to say, they're picking on females. We should have, I guess, but nobody did. Yeah.
It's just normal then to pick on females.
Yeah. Now, if somebody picked on different nationalities, that was in the paper. But picking on females, I don't know.
I think that was up to you, and you didn't do it.
Nobody did it. We just sat through the whole thing. We just laughed about it. But nobody ever wrote an article on that, picking on females. How about that? That was fun. Those were good days. So we're very happy, funny memories. So they're good memories.
I'm a humanist, and one of the humanist theme is the way the time to be happy is now. The place to be happy is here. The way to be happy is to help to make other people happy.
Where is that from?
And that's from the Humanist publication.
So we kind of stick to that, and that's what we do. We like to do that, yeah.
They are two of the most positive people
Yeah.
you'll ever meet.
Basically, I think we're surrounded by people that's laughing all the time, and there's sad moments, but we always think that along with the sad times and bad times, there has to come a better time, and good times will come around, and then so you embrace that, and as a result, things do change, and I think that we make the change. I think that's what it comes down to. It's up here. You have to think about it, and if you dwell on it, you won't get anything done. So you have to pick up and go, and no sense being so gloomy and so depressed and so negative. It's always good to be positive. That's a good state of mind to have, to be positive, especially in this society of ours today. You have to keep a positive mind. There's always good that comes with the bad, and but negativeness is so easy to come by. Her father, Ralph, never had a negative. He just never had that. Maybe we got that from him. I think we got that from him because he would get up and he would just gung ho. He would do it again, another way to get around it, and in his ways of doing, he probably went over everybody's faces and things, but he came up with a solution which was a great solution that everybody said, that's a good thing, that's a real good thing. Where'd you get that idea from? He does, he comes up, that's because he's a very positive person, and I think that rubbed off on us. We've been with him for so long that we see how he lived and we admire him, and so we became another Ralph Kennedy.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what it is really. So our children are like Ralph. They like to help people. They're always helping people out, and listening to them and doing stuff. And I thought, you know what? I think that's pretty good when your kids do that. And you don't have to remind them, hey, there's other human beings in this world. But I think that was Ralph's whole being. He was surrounded by people, and we all understood him. We all read his mind, and he did which was very normal to him, was not me but you. I think about you. He always placed other people before him. I think that, and I think Observer is like that. You place the people before you. Yeah, they did. Yeah, Ron, when Ron went to Cal State, he was here. He was doing what you were doing. So he was typing, and he was on the computer already. So he wrote stories, and Lorna would paste. She came to paste. So we all had some part of Observer. The first time we published, how many readers did we have?
Oh,
They
I
were,
know.
and you went house. They went house to house. Every house in Fullerton had, because we had volunteers, and he would bring. He was the circulation manager. So he would put all the paper there, and he would take to different parts of Fullerton, and somebody would. I'm gonna take it up and down my street and the next street, and he would drop it off. So he was busy. So he did that, and then all of Fullerton. How many would that have been? The first?
Well, the way the whole circulation structure was, organized, we did it such that we had, I would say about maybe a half a dozen volunteers living
Passed, yeah, how
in
many did you
different
pass?
parts of the city.
Okay.
And each one of these
How
people
many stacks?
volunteered to do their street. And anyway, we did it like that for a while,
How many?
until one day Ralph and I, and maybe somebody else too, got together and we decided that maybe we should try to expand the circulation by asking stores, restaurants, a barber shop,
Library.
whatever,
So,
yeah, and get permission from them if we could get a rack into their establishment, and we'll deliver it on the rack. And surprisingly, quite a few people said, go ahead, So we got a list of people that we could do that for, the stores and all that. And so we started delivering to those stores and offices and so forth. And the circulation went way up.
how much did we start? We started with about 3,000, huh?
I
Did Ralph print
forget.
about 3,000?
Yeah.
About 3,000, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, because, when you deliver like we used to deliver, strictly walking from house to house, how do you know if these people pick it up from the front door and throw it in the trash can? But if you had it in a rack and people picked it up and took it home,
They'll read
they
it.
pick it up because they wanted to read it. So at least we knew it was going to people that like to read it.
And one of the places that ever since they did the store-to-store was George's Hamburger. Ever since we had that paper started and going, they started it. So they've had it for over 30 years then. This Observer is a great paper.
Yeah.
It's a great paper, and it keeps the. In fact, when we go to shop at Stater Brothers, the papers are out on the stand. I just stand and watch, especially when the new paper gets stacked up. People are waiting, and or over at Henry's, and you see people just waiting, and they just they just consume it. So I know it's being read, and it always goes down. So yeah.
How many
People like to read it, yeah. Because Register doesn't carry the news about Fullerton. They have the News Tribune section, but not to such a point where ours covers just about everything, little thing. So Sharon is always all over the town and always writing about this, and it's a very informative paper, and it's needed.